Hello there and welcome. In this video I want to introduce 10 different tips, strategies and things that will help you master Hazard 5. While in my previous video I was talking more about build related things, in this video it's more about strategizing, a few things about build related stuff but less about weapon upgrading and more about your general approach to the difficulty level. So, number one that I want to stress out, cut your losses, no loot is worth dying for. Except for legendary gear, in all honesty. That stuff I would die for, because it's permanent. But besides of that, you will not lose the game, or you will not risk your run only because you haven't gotten that one artifact. Or, there's so many points where I genuinely destroyed my run by just wanting to achieve something too badly, and that is something really try to avoid that. And the other thing is sometimes you have to breach through the enemy lines, and in this game mode it is so important that you try to look for the spot where there's only small bugs, because the big bugs, they shred you to pieces before you get to the other end of the line. Those little bugs there, they still hurt a lot in Haz 5, but at least you will make it to the other end. So these are two things that I really want to recommend in this department. Number two, learn those biomes and use those biomes. The thing in Haz 5 is it really teaches you to recognize every little detail about the biomes that you can get. So for example here, that lava ground, usually the bugs will avoid using that, so you can use that a bit of a safe haven. It also inflicts very low amounts of damage, which you can synergize with several artifacts out there, or overclocks that all interact with receiving damage. There's synergies there. Other biomes have these bouncy pads, for example, which also are excellent things to play around, which give you mobility. In short, look for the things that make the biome unique and work with these, and also look for the special dangers of the specific biomes and try to play around these as well. Because to give you my favorite example, those little cousins of the exploders, the little purple ones, are among the worst things that exist in game. In this biome, you specifically need to gear out yourself a weapon that takes care of these. Something with close range targeting or such is really good. In short, check out those biomes and specialize your playstyle towards them. In Hazard 5, this gets rewarded a lot because, in all honesty, stuff is all cranked up to the max, and this just makes it easier to survive there. So number three, one thing in your whole strategizing should be around focusing how to approach killing stuff. Two things are the most important. Your elite kill speed, the tempo that you can take down one elite, and the amount of AoE that you can do at the same time. These are the two most important metrics in success, in my experience of those runs, because at the end of the day we have one stupidly tough bug to kill at the end of the road. That's something we need to be prepared for, and will be chased down by hordes of bugs while attempting to do so. So these two things will help you in surviving that task, so try to pick weapons that do the job. Number four, here's a special entry to one meta stat that I can't really leave out of this guide. Since Hazard 5 is honestly quite unfairly difficult, luck is a power stat, because luck allows you to shift the odds to your favor and produce more rare upgrades. More rare upgrades make the run very easy if you're very lucky. Hence the name, luck. So, two things about that. For one, if it comes on in the run early on, a really nice pick. Nothing bad about that. Number two, luck can also be found on gear. And that's where I like it the most, because that's the luck that triggers right off the get-go. You have it on your build right when you start, and it doesn't deter from your build, except for taking up a couple of slots on your gear, which you could fill with something more efficient, true, but at least your level ups won't be infected by that. So, luck makes the chance of getting something like this more higher, And that is why it makes the whole difficulty level easier to beat, I think. This is easy to understand. Number 5, when you're tweaking your build, I found that building towards a glass cannon approach paid off quite decently. Damage per second is the major stat in this thing, and it is okay to delay anything else as long as you can kill stuff. Of course, sometimes you just get a legendary pick for a utility stat that you want and such. Obviously, this is these are exceptions of the rule, but it should be in your awareness that the most important thing is that you can kill stuff fast. As you see here, this is already becoming a little bit of a problem because somehow I'm distracted talking. Now, number 6, next point on my list, which is really, really important. Dodge is a quite overpowered stat in this game mode, because it might be random, yes, but it negates damage 100% in an environment where one-shot damage exists. Depending on your HP and your armor, of course, but the Dreadnought at the end of the game, some of my characters directly got nuked by him. Dodging that gives you basically an extra life if you just mess it up. And what can I say? It's just awesome. Here again, dodge is a very, very rare stat. You basically can't skill it up directly. The Scout, one of his subclasses, has inbuilt dodge. Really good stuff for that difficulty level. I think this is the best Scout subclass for Has 5 in my humble opinion due to that. And the other thing is dodge can sometimes get included into gear, and therefore dodge gear, keep an eye out for it. I personally think it is really amazing because it just, like I said, it might be nothing you can rely on, but the amount of times that I was, dodge, thinking when I was sure that something really bad now will happen was quite amazingly high. Alright, so number 7, legendary gear. I already skimmed that topic previously, but I want to return to it one more time. Legendary gear is basically the juice that you're striving for. These items will all, if they have the proper submods, make your life so much easier. Therefore, this is the one thing that you should strive for, and if Hazard 5 feels a little bit hard for you, I can only say it becomes easier the more permanent upgrades you got, and I very, very strongly feel as if the developers have balanced the entire kit of Hazard 5 around the idea that you will have some badass gear eventually. If you can't have legendary gear, tweak it to the epic. These are also really, really nice to have, powerful enough to carry you through the job. I wouldn't say that legendary gear is necessary to beat Has 5, but it sure feels as if enough of these items could make it actually more or less to a walk in the park if maxed out and fitting to your build. Number 8, relearn enemy respect. This is something that I really, really had to get back in or new into my system when I went for my first Hazard 5 runs. Everything hurts. The little bugs hurt, the acid spitters hurt like hell, the exploders are basically a death sentence. All in all, you need to relearn your entire behavior. Nothing you did before really works that well out in Hazard 5. I really felt like this was the one game mode where I had to sort of like relearn the game quite badly, because so many new factors, so many new rules, so many things that suddenly didn't work anymore in my previous runs that did work there quite decently well. And therefore, take your lessons out of your deaths, and yeah, I just can't put it down like that, and no more provoking the exploders. Try to avoid even the tiniest spittle, and treat it like a hardcore run where you don't want to get hit by anything. Obviously, this is a high bar to achieve, and obviously, most likely you will get smacked by something, but this will, over time, give you at least the awareness that these bugs exist, and I like to say practice makes permanent, you know? Alright, and number 9, grinding helps. In that manner, as masteries do play a big role in this whole game mode, when you feel like you're frustrated out of Has 5, go back to the line and just max out a couple of weapon masteries. I feel like the weapon masteries are probably one of the best points to just power up yourself, because the percentile bonuses on the weapon masteries go deep into the damage calculation formula, and basically every mastery point that you achieve multiplies the power of every upgrade that you put onto the weapon. It is more than just upgrading the weapon. It's basically upgrading the upgrades for the weapon when you have a mastery on them. And that, taken times 4, does make quite the difference. So, in short, if you feel like the challenge bothering you and it's stopping to be fun, go back to the drawing board, grind up some more. Maybe you'll find some nice gear. Mastery grinding is also a really nice way of getting some gear. I was quite surprised about how much fun I had there. And the last point on my list, number 10, navigation is crucial. So here's a couple of points. First up, the borders of the map are your worst enemy. This is the zone where you want to be only shortly. It goes even as far as sometimes I don't even pick up supply pods in these areas because I regularly got killed by standing with the back to the wall, and that is something you just don't want, especially when a swarm is spawning on top of you. It is very, very easily a death sentence, depending on your damage per second, obviously. The other thing is walls inside the level. While some weapons allow you to mine the area around you autonomously, and in combination with mineral scanners, it is an amazing treat. Mind you, though, that walls are also a safety measure. You probably don't want to destroy all of them, because if you are followed by a big glyphid swarm, you can always, if your mining speed is exceeding the enemy's mining speed, flee into the wall. And that is something that, if you have already destroyed all walls, is no longer possible. In short, consider that terrain as a dwarf is your friend. You are master of the terrain. Definitely more than those stinking bugs are. All in all, these two things helped me out a lot. And the last thing, really important, take note of the swarm meter on top of this list. When you are right before a swarm attack, try to stay away from the map borders under any circumstances. If there is one enemy group on top of you already and the swarm spawns from the wrong direction, this can easily outmaneuver you. The tighter the corridors and the more obstacles in your way, the higher the danger of this situation becomes. These 3 ground rules, if you master them well, actually get you through a lot of problems, the entire game. But in Has 5, I really felt like the value of doing good navigational movements and taking attention of the enemy timing was giving me a huge payoff in terms of survivability, or the other way around. Every time I derped around that, I immediately got smacked and died out of the fallout out of that misdecision. So, these were my 10 points. Here's the last one. That pukey boy back there, he's the worst of them all. And certain builds always struggle with killing that guy, because while in roly-poly mode, he's stupidly high armored, and while he's in pukey mode, he's stupidly hard to kill. So if that guy ever feels like he's bothering you, that's because he's bothersome. He's probably the worst elite that I know in Has 5, and he's always an unlucky spawn. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this guy. Hopefully, one day the devs will just tone down his armor, but until then, take note that this is the worst guy that you can meet, at least in my book. Some builds easily take care of him, some builds just don't. Anyways, I hope that this video was filled with some helpful things for you, and feel free to add in your Hazard 5 wisdom, because I gotta say, I feel like there's so much interesting, or so many interesting strategies that you can take, and so many things where you can improve yourself on. Let me know what you're doing. I'm really, really eager to know, and everybody watching this video will afterwards have an opportunity to get even better because of you. So, thanks for watching. Drop me a like, drop me a subscribe. Feel free to donate to the channel if you feel like my work is worth a penny to you. I would really, really be very, very grateful. Many thanks go out to all of you supporting the channel, and of course, thanks for watching this video up until the very end. Appreciate you taking that time, and hope you'll have a good time with this game. See you there.